needed to be in Tuscaloosa, but we also needed to continue our relationships in Marion as well.
Since being here, do you feel like you made the right choice?
Absolutely. We learned how to go with something where there's not perfect communication. People don't have the schedule down to the hour, and we've learned how to deal with situations like that aren't always going to be exactly how we want them, because that's not always going to happen.
I think maybe the typical leadership style, or the typical I've been elected this, or I'm this, and these are the decisions I have to make, or these are the guidelines I have to follow. For a lot of people, it's been more like a different leadership experience.
I've seen a lot of people step up and be leaders. Not that we weren't necessarily being leaders before, but a lot of the stuff that we've done in the past has been just real theoretical and just talking about leadership. And it's been cool to see people actually stand up and take leadership and take responsibility. So that's been really neat. And just to see people's hearts and to see how much they care come out has been cool.
Thank you, I guess. This wasn't an easy thing to do, to take, for a lot of people who had put all the time and effort into their projects in Marion and have planned it out and were kind of excited or had built all these relationships, to kind of scrap them in a sense, to say that it's not as important as what we need to do. It's not a priority anymore. But thank you for making this such a truly great experience. And it's not the black belt experience we were expecting, but it's a Tuscaloosa experience. It's a Tuscaloosa experience we'll remember for the rest of our lives.
And I think it's increased our group's heart for Tuscaloosa. I know that several of us want to continue working in Holt Elementary School or with TES, and I don't think that would have happened otherwise.
I think having a student presence in the community is a good way to start bridging the gap between the community of Tuscaloosa and the campus of the university. And I think the involvement that students have shown will lead by example, lead students to be more connected to their community that they live in.
I think that there's not a single fellow here that is not going to continue what we've been doing now in the next year. That was amazing when we've seen what we've been able to do and the work we've been able to do. And so, and even in that respect, we've kind of been grown and empowered to be able to help our city.
But it's also been interesting to see how we fit into this chaotic equation, because we're in the very, very raw stages of tornado relief, and that is not always the organized type of volunteering that people are accustomed to. And finding niches for college students who just want to go out there and make a difference and take ownership of something in the community has really been interesting and quite inspiring, because we fit. We had a place. So it's been a very great experience so far.
It was really about connecting with the city in a lot of different ways. I saw parts of the city I'd never seen before. I met people who I otherwise never would have met. And although, I can't say that I stood up and really led a single project, but at the same time, I felt that I was an integral part of a lot of different ones just by simply being there.
I feel like I've been challenged in these almost 3 weeks now, pretty much more than I have all year.
I still feel like a lot of it hasn't sunk in yet. I still feel like I'm gonna wake up and everything's gonna be back to normal.
Even though this tornado was so horrible, it really could have been so much worse. And if it had just, turned slightly, it could have completely wiped out campus. And, dorms filled with people that we are all so close to, that most of us were in. So just kind of taking a second to realize what really could have happened and just appreciate what you have, and that we will be able to return to the university next year and help with the rebuild process and help, mend all these bridges and form new ones.
It sounds cliche, but you put in, I guess you get out what you put in. I think we've affected the kids,
Definitely.
but they've affected us just as much as we've kind of had an impact on them. So
one thing I've really learned is the power of common experiences and community, and the change it can really impact.
And then as for the Tuscaloosa community, I think that just through all of the connections we've made with people and all of the stories that people come back with, they're all about people that they've met and conversations that they've had. And I think that really speaks volumes about the impact that we've had on the community and the impact that the community has had on us, that it's not so much about what we've been doing, but who we've been talking to while we've been doing it.
One of the first houses we went to, it was a really old lady who had lived there, and she had a collection of
wine corks and seashells that she's been collecting her entire life. And so when we were going through the rubble, if you found any of those, she asked that you bring them to her. And I found a couple wine corks and I brought them to her, and like to see her like face light up was like really, it touched me, I guess you'd say.
Having these experiences where you interact with people at their very worst, in a sense, in that they've lost so much and they have nothing. Looking into somebody's eyes and seeing that firsthand, being a part of that experience for that person, I think that's something very meaningful, and I think that it's something that necessarily changes you forever.
I would have to say watching the nightly games of Mafia has definitely changed my whole perspective on the game. And it's definitely going to be one of the most memorable moments that I have.
We've all matured. We've all, I guess, expanded our friendship circles, and seeing that was really nice. I know I've started talking to people that I, wouldn't normally talk to, just from in the fellows class. So this experience has really allowed that to happen.
That we definitely know how to work together now, and what strengths each individual brings to the table, and how to use those strengths as a cohesive unit.
Have definitely grown closer together. Not many of us thought that was possible, but we have, and I've especially truly been able to see the side of some people that I didn't really get to see on campus, and see how each of them can use their strengths and individual talents to help out in their own way. So I think I can say I definitely appreciate a lot of people more, being able to work side by side with them and see how this common effort has brought out the best in all of us.
It'll be a lot more like seeing people that you've known and trusted your whole life than it is going to be coming back to see people you had interacted with just in class once or twice a week. It's going to be much deeper.
I'm just really proud of everyone. There's been some tension, and there's been some tough times, and there's been some disagreements, but that's going to happen with anyone. And it's been really neat to see everyone overcome differences to try and team up and work together to try and help Tuscaloosa.
I don't know. I think we've all been able to see the best in each other and the worst in each other in these 3 weeks. And, yet we're still sticking together. We've overcome a lot of challenges, a lot of obstacles. There's been blood, sweat, and tears, as David and I were talking about earlier. So I think we've definitely seen each other in our most vulnerable states, and that will definitely keep us together in the coming years.
Thank you. There are times when thank you is just not enough.
I feel honored to be with all of you guys, and I love you all, and I'm gonna miss you. You're a special group of people.
I just feel really blessed and privileged to be surrounded by such a strong community of people that are dedicated to using their knowledge and all the advantages that they've had in life to help other people. And it's just so humbling, and it's motivating me because I feel like I need to live up to that too, and I feel like I can't let down anyone else, because everyone is out there giving their all, and I need to be right there with them. So, I'm really grateful for that and really inspired.
We have to remember that no matter how we end this experience and how we view it, remember to stay positive, that we have done good.
Use this experience to better the entire UA and Tuscaloosa communities over the next 3 years that we're here. I don't think it's by accident that we were the class that was chosen to do this, or that we ended up switching from Marion to Tuscaloosa. And I think it's going to change the dynamic of the University Fellows experience as a whole. I think it's going to be up to us to change that for the better, and to emerge as the leaders on our campus.
And be willing to cut a tree up and carry it, and not have to worry about the logistics behind, or not have to worry about who's getting credit for it, don't have to worry about putting a logo on it. Do it because we are called to do it, because it's right. I think remember that we are all called to a higher standard. Every one of us, not just as fellows, not just the university, but each one of us on this earth is called to a higher standard of morality, of goodness, and of responsibility for each other.
Thank you for teaching me. Thanks for teaching me
more about who I am and more about who you are, because I think that's really important as we go forward, because we need each other a lot. The next 3 years are not going to be easy, both for Tuscaloosa and for our class and for fellows as a program. So we really have a great opportunity to step up, and it's gonna be very dependent on the relationships that we formed here. So thank you for being open to that and really building that foundation.
Frankly, these next 3 years, they seem huge right now, and they are huge in a lot of ways, but 10 years from now, 15 years from now, 20 years from now, I would say make sure that these years are what you want them to be.
Someone say action.
Yo, stop it. Action.
I'm not.
DJ, we're recording.
Action we can't say.
Okay, too much pressure. Sit down.
Action.
I can't handle it. Action. I'm just gonna remind you. John.
I do not want to be made fun of in this
video. Okay, what's your name?
My name is John Breaker.
Is this not so awkwardly part?
Yes, thank you.
Would you like us to
Make it
answer
awkwardly
something?
You ready? Oh, there, you're recording. Okay,
Oh, okay.
Why don't y'all explain why the three of you are being interviewed together?
Because Swinton's too scared to go by himself.
I was napping and I got woken up by people who wanted to interview us. And
I just wanted to watch Bones.
You're just too scared to go. But you lost in nose goes, and you
I
had
don't
a little
play
go
dumb,
about it.
childish games.
We don't play dibs.
I'm
Yeah,
kind of
we
wishing
do.
I had an individual interview now.
I'm an introvert, and I don't do interviews very well.
Because
So long,
farewell,
I'll see you in the fall.
Where are you guys going?
To you and you and
How's
you
the
and
interview
you
going?
and you. I don't know the words to this.
Where you
So
guys going? How's the
I'm gonna
interview
go. Stop right now.
I'm bailing.
But
I really like. I feel
it.
left out from the circle.
Will you
of
let
love.
me talk?
Nope. I feel left out. I'm leaving. We can start over later.
Okay. I'm confused. I don't know what I should do.
Y'all should just hit pause until we can think of an answer.
No, you need to cut off this bogus.
Don't do it. Don't turn the DVD player off.
Whoa, it happened.
Wait, it's gonna say CEO.
Oh,